Greetings, everyone. I'm Ambeshsingh, and today I welcome jonasrapp in the fourth episode of the Power Platform Community Tool series. In the previous episode, we talked about how to create and manage the connection in the XrmToolBox. If you have not checked out, then please find the link in the description of the video and just go through before coming here. In this episode, we will talk about how to customize the XrmToolBox settings and reset the installation in case of any unforeseen issues. So let's move forward. We have tons of the XrmToolBox settings available. Jonas will show in the demo itself, so we can make a changes accordingly to our need, what we need from the corporate branding perspective, or if we have any personal choices there. We will anyhow go through all of this XrmToolBox settings in a minute from now. Then another important aspect, how to reset the XrmToolBox setting installation. So if you are using the XrmToolBox, and sometimes this could happen that XrmToolBox application does not work anymore. So what we generally recommend to you that firstly you should take the backup for the connection folders, and then you need to take a backup for your setting folders. You can delete the content of the folders from inside, and then you can restart the XrmToolBox, and then the error should not be coming. The problem should be resolved, and then you can install all of the tools from the tool library, whatever you need it based on your requirements. This ideally should resolve the issues, and all of the settings you will find it into your local user in the app data folder. We will show you in the demo time, and as always, now we have our favorite persona, Max and Mia. We know that they are the co-worker in the Contoso. So Mia have a doubt that how she can change theme of the XRM toolbox and what else she can customize here. And Max asks her to follow up the demo by Jonas, who will now exactly explain how to customize this setting in the XRM toolbox and if she want to reset the installation back to the default. So over to you, Jonas.
Okay, thank you, Ambesh. I'll start sharing my screen. So let's start. We just start XrmToolBox and we find well, you can find the settings in different ways of how to find it in the menu. It's up there, settings, or here in the start page, which I really like to have, so we can actually get to the latest opened tools with the right connection and so on. I love that, and there are a lot of shortcuts here so as well from the tool library and the settings. So we go to the settings. There's a bunch of things here as well. We have a few, it's like 15 different parts of it, and we start in the first one is tool library. Well, we never really do change anything, but we can to say where should I find all the plugins, the tools for XrmToolBox. We can even add more. So if you have some internal tools that we've created at our company, then we can to show them in a specific URL there. So on, and then we can set a bit limits of which do we actually look is a good tool or not. Debate is on the rating and so on. Well, not much to really do there, but for the startup page that we have, what should happen when we start XrmToolBox? Should we bring it up and to check for update? You should always do that. Check always for updates, because if there's new version released, you will want to have that. So make sure you download always when there is an update available. If it should show the tool library, you can set it to show if there are some updated tools and so on. I usually use never. I will open it when I need it and so on. And a few more options here as well. That was when started. When ending XrmToolBox, we can say to it how much prompt will you get to the user. Should we actually accept to close it and so on? You don't really need to change anything, but if you're getting annoyed by all the prompt about, oh, do you really want to close XrmToolBox? Just change some settings here. Then we come to connection controls. This is also like, it's not what we normally change anything. We can say if we want to even to get the preview releases. Don't know why we should. So I've done it a few times because I want to try something new that's coming from XrmToolBox. I mean from Tangitosar, and that could be do. And even you can add this if we should reuse connections, if it should display all connections and so on. So there are a few settings there as well. Regarding the display, should be light, dark, or other versions here. You can change that if you like dark ones. Not sure that all tools all tools are listening to this theme. Try it and test it. Start page, this one that I was showing you, should it show up? Yes, it should, I think. And we can add a few settings in here. And if you have opened a lot of tools and you want to see them on the start page, well, change this to 100 instead or whatever. Tool list, well, how we just like it to look on here in this list. In this case, we are having the large icons and so on, and we can change them to small. We can change a few here and there. I think the first one thing I change in the settings for all of these is that I change this to the order. Recently, no, most used. So then I get, it will counting how many times I've opened a tool, and the one that are open most times are at the top and so on. I love that because otherwise I don't need to scroll down to plugin trace viewer and so on. Session, you can just tell it to remember the session from one start to the next start of the XrmToolBox. Proxy, well, if you're working at a company with some limits to the internet, you can have some proxy here as well and define everything here. Paths, that's actually good to have because here you can see which folders you're storing everything. For me, I have control of where I store it, and I can just open this to open it tools XTB in my OneDrive there. So this couldn't be good to use just to open it, and Ambesh will show you more later when he's showing how to reinstall the XrmToolBox. Credits, well, okay, thank you everyone, because you're free tools and so on. Here you can have the application protocol. It means that we can actually execute XrmToolBox and start a specific tool as well. So which in Fetch XML Builder, it's possible to share your query, to just send it as a URL, but it's not HTTP, it's instead a XrmToolBox. It works, it's quite fun also. So here you can see when you get this, your computer will know it and it will start this tool. Well, this is some more details about which versions of which DLLs we're using. And here, if I have hidden tools, you can see them here and unhidden them also. And finally, advanced. This is actually the settings of the settings. That's weird, but I can actually do this. I can say, this is important, put it up. Why should we use that? Well, because you can. That's probably all. One thing I want to show you is hidden tools. So I can say that, well, this is good, but I will never use that. It's just, I don't want to see it. I can just hide it here in here. Now it's not in the list. It's still installed in XrmToolBox. I haven't uninstalled it, but I've hidden it. So we can still probably see here. Yes, now we see it is here, and we can then just show it also. So I guess that's all for the settings. If you want to take over now, Ambesh.
Yeah, thank you. I installed the XrmToolBox locally, which ideally not as per the recommended, what we were talking since last 2 or 3 episodes, that it should be on the OneDrive. So if I change my working station from one laptop to the other laptop, then I should not have a lot of pains that, okay, what kind of the settings I did it, what kind of the connections I made it already. I don't need to redo all this stuff. But I'm a really bad guy, and I just made all of the installation locally. I haven't listened what Jonas recommended earlier. Now I have a problem.
That is okay, but you'll get better tomorrow in the future.
So what happened in that case? I installed all the tools locally. I installed XrmToolBox locally, all of the local storage path, and now I had a problem with my XrmToolBox. It is not running properly, and I need to reset it. To reset it, firstly, as I mentioned, like we have to crawl to this path. So we need to go to the C drive, to the user, app data, and roaming MS tools, and then in the XrmToolBox. There are 2 important folders. So one is the connection, and second one is the setting here. I need to take a backup of these 2 folders. I need to delete everything, like everything which is not required. And then I need to rerun my XrmToolBox. Once I will rerun, then everything should work fine in that particular case. And on the top of that, if everything is working fine, I need to reinstall all of the tools which is required for me. And this is all the problem which we mentioned, like because a lot of our community members or developers, makers, they're still installing the XrmToolBox to their local machines. And if you face this problem, you know that what you need to do next. So firstly, you need to troubleshoot this, and to avoid all of these jargons, the better to just pick it up any OneDrive location and push every information there, so you don't need to bother about what if you lose something. That's what from my end. And thank you again, Jonas, for the wonderful demo. I would request all of the audience to subscribe the channel, like and share the videos within the community. Also provide your feedback in the comment sections that what episode you want to cover next, and we will definitely work on that. Till that, have a great time and a happy learning. Thank you so much.
Take care.